Are you guys ready for another episode? Buckle up for this one. All right, because this is going to be a little different, a bit of a different episode. I'm talking about challenges, but I'm talking about them in another way. I'm offering new perspectives. And also, I want to note I'm trying this angle, the camera from another angle. So if you see me going like this, it's because I'm trying to get used to viewing the camera in another way. All right, so let's get into it. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Tamara Tamara Collective, where dreams have no filter. Thank you to my new subscribers. I see you coming in. Thank you so much for being here. So today, in this episode, we're talking about the importance of taking care of yourself. Keyword, yourself. Self, spelled with a capital S. Taking care of yourself in a challenging situation. We should be taking care of ourselves every day, but in this video, I want to talk about taking care of yourself specifically when you're going through a challenging situation, when you're going through a challenging transition, when you're going through another elevation, when you are adopting a new identity, when you are going to another level in your expansion. We already know it can create in our physical environment challenging moments. All right, that's what we're talking about. Some people can call it the dark. I don't care what you call it, but it's a situation that we would much rather not be in. All right, that's what we're talking about today. So, taking care of yourself. And I have notes too, so I'm going to be looking at my notes because this is important. Taking care of yourself means what? It means to focus on you. Simple, nothing hard to understand there. And in that, there is this intersection of the challenging situation, the opportunity, and the elevation. So the situation is going to look different for everybody. What is the opportunity? The opportunity is the same, because when it comes down to it, in that challenging situation, the universe uses that for us to tap in to that version of our soul that wants to be expressed. All right? We know the elevation is going to look different for everyone. So we've got the situation, opportunity, elevation. Situation and elevation looks different for everybody, but the opportunity is the same. And it's so that we can go within to tap into our genius, to tap into mysteries that are in our DNA, to tap into the magic that will help us and guide us to live a soul-fulfilled life. All right? So, the next point that I want to make is what I've come to understand, and some people may disagree with this, but there is a spiritual undercurrent for every situation. Some may even say that there is a spiritual undercurrent for every disease. All right, but that's a different video, different topic. So there's a spiritual undercurrent for every situation. A situation is never just what's happening on the surface. Never. And so the challenging situation invites us. The universe is not going to force us. Source is not going to force us. Our elevated guides are not going to force us. But what can happen is that situations, challenging circumstances will present themselves for us to shed what we don't need so that we can be elevated once again in our lives, okay? So the challenging situation causes us to go within so that we can tap into the highest version of ourselves that want to be expressed. And in order to do that, we have to be quiet. We have to be silent. We have to get out of our heads and get into our bodies. And it involves going within, which means we have to take care of ourselves and focus on us. Okay? Focus on you. There is this idea that says when you are experiencing a challenging situation, getting away from it by helping someone else can be your way through it. I'm not saying that that perspective is wrong. I'm not saying that that idea is wrong. But I want to offer another perspective. Helping somebody can be beneficial. Helping someone else can be beneficial to you if it is truly satisfying for you. When you are in a challenging situation, helping someone should never come from a place of, well, I should do this because, people say if you're in a challenging situation, you should go and help someone else. Helping someone else is the way through it. No, because then that's coming from a place of obligation. So helping someone while you're in your own challenging situation, it is beneficial if it's truly satisfying for you. It's not to be used to get away from the challenging situation, because that is not soothing. That's called running. So, for example, I'll use myself as an example. In a challenging situation, I have found myself feeling obligated to offer someone else advice so that I could get away from myself or get away from the challenge. Well, after, and I'm looking up because I think I see a bug, but after I helped that person or offered some advice, I felt extremely exhausted, completely exhausted. But I realized that attempting to offer someone else advice, I did that as an escape from my own challenging situation, when in that moment I should have just been taking care of myself. Offering someone else advice did not feel satisfying to me. It felt like an obligation. Does that make sense? All right. The next point that I want to make is this. The reason why I bring up that helping someone is beneficial when it's satisfying for you, because when you're taking care of yourself, you're doing that in order for your nervous system to be soothed. And we're going to get into this a little bit more, but so that your nervous system can be soothed, so that you are not inadvertently allowing emotions, or I'm going to say low-level emotions, to be lodged in your body as you're going through this challenging situation. So it's very important that you are taking the time to allow yourself to be surrounded by things that feel satisfying. That's very important. Okay, so before I get into that, let me make this point. So I believe that the idea of going to help someone else when you're in a challenging situation, I believe that comes from this idea that says, if we're taking care of ourselves in a challenging situation, then that means that we're wallowing in our feelings, or we're allowing ourselves to wallow in the circumstance. There's a difference. There's a difference between wallowing, and there's a difference between allowing yourself to be soothed in a situation. So let's talk about it. So if you've been watching me for some time, you know that I love definitions. So what's the definition of wallowing? So wallowing means this, and this is just from dictionary.com. So let's see, where is it? Did I not put it on here? No, I didn't put it on here. But wallowing, so now, oh, my definition is gone. So I thought I put it in my notes. I guess I didn't. Anyway, wallowing means to wade, kind of, in a challenge. You're feeling sorry for yourself. You are suffering in the challenge. Challenging situations, side note, challenging situations does not equate to suffering. You don't have to suffer in a challenging situation. That's another topic as well. So, when you are wallowing in a challenge, your nervous system tightens up. It intensifies the rampant thoughts that the ego come up with about you in the situation, and it ramps up the thoughts of the ego saying that you are your situation, or you are your circumstance, or your circumstance defines you. All right. Then what that leads to, it leads to this, it incites an identity that you adopt, that we adopt, that says life is difficult. Life is difficult. And then what happens is that your nervous system begins to accept or expect the worst in every challenge, because we know life comes with challenges. But when we are expansive humans, with each challenge, we know that we become more powerful and more powerful until the challenge, all we see are opportunities. We don't even see the challenge anymore. We begin to become the alchemist. Well, we're already alchemists. The challenge causes us to embrace the alchemist identity, all right, and just to own it, right? So let me start all over with this cycle. So when we're waiting in a challenge, and waiting is spelled W-A-D-I-N-G, waiting, just immersing yourself in it. Again, suffering, feeling sorry for yourself, identifying with the challenge as, as a challenge being something that you are. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But so we've got that. Then our nervous system tightens up even more. Then it intensifies the rampant thoughts that the ego comes up with. It incites an identity with life continuously being difficult, which in turn, those ideas, those thoughts, those feelings get lodged into your nervous system. So now the nervous system is expecting the worst, which then provokes more worry for the future, which leads to suffering. It depresses the soul. It pushes down even further any existing and any new emotional blocks that you have. Okay, that's what wallowing in a challenge looks like. Now, if we compare this to taking care of yourself in a challenge, Well, let me present to you what taking care of yourself in a challenge looks like. So, I want you to think of it like this. And I've talked about this before, but our challenges come with transformation. So we can look at it as transformational fire, transformational heat. But let's consider what we use heat for. So the perfect example of this is all of my ladies out there. Every single month we're on our periods. For those of us that get cramps, what's the first thing that we reach for? A heating pad. Heating pad. Hot tea. Why? Because it's soothing. We can use another example of, let's say, a sauna. We're sitting in a sauna. If you've been in a sauna, people are in there sitting, voluntarily raising their hand to sit in heat, sweat pouring all over the place. Well, what is that heat doing? First of all, it relaxes you because you have no other choice. And in a weird way, it is relaxing because you are in the moment. Also, what is happening with that heat and with that sweat? You're releasing toxins. So if you can equate this to your transformational fire when you're in a challenge, the reason why you want to allow yourself to be soothed is so that you can release old programming, so that you can release old beliefs that no longer serve you, because they cannot go to this next elevation in your life. They cannot go with you. So you have to release them. All right? So think of it like that. So let me get into these points. When you are allowing yourself to be soothed, when you're taking care of yourself in your challenging situation, it softens your nervous system through the challenge. It quiets those rampant thoughts that the ego is so quick to come through and provide. It helps you identify with ease through that quiet and through that stillness and through being present in the now. Also, when you allow yourself to be soothed, it reminds you that every challenge is for your good, it's for your elevation, it's for your expansion, it's for your magnetism, it's for your magic. It also reminds you that your growth up into this moment has initiated you for this identity that is new for you. It has initiated you once again to go beyond what is comfortable for you, to go beyond old programming, to adopt a new way of being, to accept the new way of being that is waiting for you to pick up, to adopt the enchanted life that is waiting for you to just step into, to just walk into. Also, when you are allowing yourself to be soothed in a challenge, it consoles the soul by allowing any lodged emotions, any lodged low-level vibration, those blocks to be cleared, which is what energy clearing, what energy cleansing is. Also, it allows you, when you're quiet, when you're allowing yourself to be soothed, you'll start to realize that through each challenge, and I said this earlier, we can inadvertently hold on to ideas and emotions, they become lodged in our body. Those have to be shaken up. Those have to be broken up and released. Whether we whether they're our own or whether we picked them up from other people who gave their opinion about our challenging situation. So, that's what I wanted to drop on you today. If you have any questions for me, please let me know in the comments. But it's very important, take care of yourself in a challenging situation. You may want to go back and review this video and write out, or maybe not write out, however you want to do it, but write out how there are ways what you can do right now that is satisfying for you, that brings you joy, that brings you comfort, that brings you peace, and make it fun. Have fun in a challenging situation, yes, because you don't have to suffer through it. All right, so embrace your elevation, embrace your magic. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching another episode of the Tamara Tamu Collective, where dreams have no filter. Cheers.